So good morning. This is going to be our first look at the damage that Irma did for us and area around us. First thing is this traffic light. We want to thank our traffic light here. It's the reason why we had power restored at 4 o'clock this morning. Because apparently our power problem was tied to this area also. It's a mahogany tree that we didn't plant years ago, and it got shorter in the storm. See some major branches that are just hanging in there. Not sure when we'll get around to doing that particular project. But anyway, let's go take a look at the farm. Might take a glimpse across the street. There's a little bit of damage there too. A lot of these trees were just really not ready for palm fronds, this is from the palms, the royal palms across the street. They just sort of rip off, which is a good thing for surviving a hurricane. We've got some mango branches down from our mango tree. Our mailbox didn't fare so well. Waiting for us. We'll get our sign up later today. There's a few broken leaves on it. Anyway, we've got some fresh stuff that came down with the storm. Basically anything that's green was what came down yesterday or last night. I think we did a pretty good job with trimming the stuff that we wanted to keep. I don't see. Yeah, this is stuff that I cut before the storm. Oh no, it isn't. That's a ripped thing, but. This is from higher up. It doesn't have any grafts on it. Anything that I could reach easily got grafted. So it's probably from up there. And all this stuff I have trimmed. I had trimmed a lot of it before the storm, and so I think that most of the stuff that I've grafted is on there still. You can see here the sign of life coming out of this particular graft. Yay. There's some more up here. I reinforced that one. And let's see what's yeah, this is leaves that I trimmed. I trimmed back this whole branch so it wouldn't sway too much, and so that one's doing nicely. Look like they're in pretty good shape in general. Here's some more stuff that came down. You see we have this big branch here that came down from that was going straight up, and it's fallen onto that side, but it's fortunately I spared some of it. Out of the tree. This is a grafted project that I grafted a few months ago, I guess, and so I reinforced those places. I didn't even trim these leaves, and that made it through great. We were very lucky that this neighbor's mango tree didn't come down on the power lines, because that only affects 3 customers, and so it would have been weeks before, potentially weeks before we got electricity. Branch probably came down from this tree. We've got this branch still sitting in here, obviously torn off. So, with all of these branches, oh, look at that. Isn't that crazy? Something that the storm gave to us. I thought we were out of mangoes. We have 2. Yay. They came down when they're fairly green, so they should be pretty good. So anyway, with these branches, you can see there's big rips. So one of our jobs is going to be finding the other part of that, you know, where it came off of the tree. Oh my, this one has really gotten beaten up. Didn't trim this one back very much. We have a rip here, and these branches are just way down. It looks like they're not split, so that's good. This one has to be trimmed. But it just weakened. These were going straight up pretty much, and the 12 hours of extreme winds really took its toll on this plant. This area is pretty good. Seeing some branches that have been broken off of trees, but it's nothing huge down there. One of the areas has new grafts on it. Yesterday morning, before the tough winds came in, the really strong ones, I cut back some growth here. This one was young, but it didn't have any grafts on it, so that's okay. We can cut that back, and no labor lost, basically. Here's our graft that was coming out with new leaves, and it's in good, nice shape. This is a nice firm branch here also. And this young one that doesn't have anything grafted onto it, that's okay. It'll grow back fine. Got a little bit of breakage here with a, looks like lychee. This is, not sure what lychee, oh, here it is. This from the potted one. And that's, you can see, this one had half of the trunk was something had happened to it. It was mostly dying, and then the other part was healthy, and that's where it ripped. So this part's healthy. Lychee's pretty strong wood, but it can be brittle. It's very dense, like a pain in the neck to cut through. But it can be fairly strong. Here's a major break. Didn't break all the way off, but we have this. When we'll have to cut that back. We're just trying to assess the situation here, what kind of work is ahead of us. Our Alfonso tree here. Major branches came down from that. We'd already trimmed out the tallest ones, but we'll have to go back and trim that again. You can see where the winds were mostly out of the southeast. All the branches on that kit are just heading to the northwest. It's just the hours of wind, and the gusts were incredibly strong. So it's not any terrible damage to that tree. It's just definitely it has a little memory of the storm with all those branches going like that. I'll have to get more into this, but I see some more branches down in the grove, but nothing really horrible. We really were lucky that we had a chance to do all of this pruning before the end of before the storm arrived, right after the end of mango season. You can see a few more little darlings under here. One that the snails already found, and one perfect one. That's Malika. This is a bad thing here. I didn't see this. Didn't think it happened. But this particular tree is star apple, Kaimito, and it's been blown over before. But this is looking bad. It's major work just to get those roots underground again. We have quite a lot of customers that are really quite fond of Kaimito, and we're looking forward to a good season. It was just loaded with flowers, tens of thousands of flowers, I would guess. It was amazing. And now we've got quite a job ahead of us on that tree. Our focus on the trimming was mango trees, and you don't have time for everything. There's some damage to the Ryan tree here, mostly intact, but we've got some ripping and some branches that are still in there. I'll take it. Guessing that it was a good reason why this one doesn't get beat up more. We have some coconut palms that are leaning heavily. This branch came off right here. That's a Glen branch. There's a rather large part of the elephant tusk that came down. We see a couple of sad customers next year for elephant tusk. It wasn't good enough for this. Didn't really get around to it. This is this major trunk right here. 50 branch. Of course, we'll need to go down to Goodwood, which hopefully will be right here. This split keeps going down. You can see this down here. Take that out, and it's there's some smaller rips around, but that's a major one. So here's a old branch you're talking on. Here, rip down to here. So I'll need to cut that way back. This is a lot of wood. Looks like we have some lychee. Unfortunately, we cut back a lot of the lychee that's on top of the hill way back. Like about a year ago, so that's very good for us and for our neighbors. The landscape tree, I usually call that an orchid tree, from the previous owners. So it's just been hanging out since 1999 and never had much cause to keep it or to take it out. So now we have reason to take it out. Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
Leaves, oh my. The whole fence to the neighbors, and a big section of tree came down. Wow. To try and get to that early on. These all seem to have held up well. Man, it's tough. It's a big section of tree we got to the neighbors. Yeah. Here's a situation where this branch apparently didn't blow off. It just twisted, so that's not a good thing. We gotta cut that way back. I don't know if we'll get to healthy growth on that one or not. Minor damage here. Garbage. So we parked the car in the little truck here. With it being down the hill, less chance of being damaged by the wind. Apparently it worked out very nicely. The shipping container helped with the east wind, but mostly down the hill helped a lot. We have the church on the other side. Yeah, we had trimmed a lot of this mango hedge area, but, you know, a little bit ripped down. Since this area was so protected, figured we'd leave the bananas up to see how they did. And of course this one didn't fare so well. The one that had fruit on it, of course. These, they might be okay. You never know how much damage has occurred in the inside of the plant, because, you know, it's not a woody plant, so a little bit of damage goes a long way. This is stuff from the neighbor's tree here. And a little bit of avocado stuff that's blown down. The avocado trees are mostly doing fine. It looks like we've got a little bit to harvest on the ground. fact, I'd be pretty surprised if there's anything left on the tree at all. Some more over here. I knew this, something had come down, but look at the diameter of this. Wow. Spider out of the way. Oh, a whole ton. Look at that. Got some rot going. That's why that came down. It's a lot of tonnage to deal with. Just that one branch. More palm fronds from someplace. I don't know where that tree was. Assuming it was the neighbor's. I don't know. Ah, this is our cinnamon tree. It used to be full of leaves. I guess its way of dealing with wind is just to lose its leaves, because it's nice and sturdy in the ground, so that's a good thing. But of course, we'll need to trim this back. This was a weird angled one, and so it got torqued and so. But otherwise, that recovery for that tree should be pretty easy. We'll take a peek in the front. Go up to a few plants in the front, and then over to the shade house, and that should be most of the action. So this was from 2 days ago. Anything these lychee leaves that are a little bit brown, that's what we intentionally took off the tree from up there. It was what was worrying me the most about damage to the house. So that was a big job because lychee is a tough wood. But then this one came down, and fortunately, I don't think it really hurt much. There's some potted plants below here, so we'll have to dig them out hopefully today. Step again here. We didn't have a chance to properly lay down these trees, so the wind did that for us. Hopefully they're not damaged from the fall. So it looks like by the project tree that grafted starting about a year ago, most of things started about a year ago on that tree. It looks like that one made it through the hurricane very well. I cut off like the last 2 growth flushes for some of the varieties, just tried to reduce the new growth. I'm sure there's going to be something that's damaged in there, but it's pretty darn good. This was the pile of stuff from the lychee tree, some of the trimmings, and it didn't budge at all during all this wind. So yeah, that's why I'm not really concerned about trimming ahead of the storm. This tree used to actually have green on top of it. It was a branch that was growing straight up that I thought was pretty darn vulnerable for during the hurricane, and that turned out to be true. So most of that is what's lying on the ground right here, and so actually, you know, I don't mind that came down at all. That needed to come down anyway. It looks like the grafts that I was taking a long time to protect, and cutting back leaves and cutting back the growth so that it would have less swing to it. It looks like that worked. I'm sure that there's something that got blown off, but I'm seeing a lot of good grafts there, so that's a good thing. And this tree, well, you can see a branch up there that was blown off, but it's staying in the tree there. And so yeah, we're due to have tree trimmers come over and take this down. I'm not sure how soon they'll get here with all the other hurricane business that they no doubtedly have now. Sorry I didn't get this one, boy. Just missed it when I was trimming. That was a nice graft, but broken right here, so oh well, we all can't live, I suppose. This one looks like it got really weakened by the wind, but I don't see any break in it, so that might live to just be in a different growth pattern. So yeah, all this is looking pretty darn good. So we're almost to the end here. Got a few more things to hit. Here's our, oh yeah, this is a shame. These two jaboticabas were planted at the same time. This one got knocked down by several hurricanes, and this one fared better. And this time, because we didn't reduce the canopy before the storm, it was knocked down. So that's a darn shame. We got to figure out how to save that. That's a rather old tree and productive too. Just with the light winds, before the big winds started, I noticed how much these coconuts were swaying, and so I cut as many fronds as I could off of them. Of course, it's never enough, but this one somehow survived. You can see what a beating it took on this southeast side of the tree, and a few others that's evident, but this one took the brunt of the wind. And we have this. This is the end of the ponytail palm. This particular branch was taken, or growth was knocked off. That's called Bocarnia recurvata, and so you can see this was already sending up a little shoot here. So I think what I'll do is just cut it back to here and have it be a little bit less sprawling. Oh my. Guess we weren't spared completely with the coconut palms. This is just broken off of its roots. It's must be a point of weakness right there. Tap into this one also. Oh, and looks like another one over here too. Whole different kind of root system than regular trees. And it looks like we lost this palm too. Let's cut off the top. There's no hope for it. Glad we got all the shade cloth tied up. Some of it came unraveled in the storm, but it looks like all the piping is in place still, and that's the important part. We trimmed some of this jackfruit ahead of the storm because I was afraid that some of the branches might fall on top of the shade house. So that seems to have worked out pretty well. It looks like, yeah, looks like most everything is cut branches that's down on the ground there. Here's our banana plants going strong after 2.5 days. So yeah, of course the one that had fruit on it, they don't send out any leaves after they have fruit, so that one is finished. But these other ones might just fruit on their own. And it looks like things are pretty good in the shade house. I don't really want to go through there. It's just sort of tedious at the moment. So anyway, that's how things look here after the storm. We've got plenty of work ahead for us. I think that one of the things I've got to do in the beginning is to go and try and get the longan tree that fell into the neighbor's place. Try and chop that up and get it out of there. It's really not a priority for the farm, but I feel like that's the best thing to do as far as the neighbors are concerned. So anyway, we do count ourselves as being very fortunate. There was just nothing that happened to the house. We were without power for about 12 hours, which is just unbelievable for us because often it's weeks that we are without power. So and a lot of the trimming that we did ahead of the storm, a month ahead and then directly ahead of the storm, really helped. Our damage to the mango trees was minimal. Unfortunately, we just didn't have the time and energy to do everything that we could have. Well, if we'd had time and energy, of course. But yeah, there's a fair amount of cleanup here, so we'll have to get going on that. But just thought we'd give you a quick look at the farm, and it gives me a chance to develop a strategy too. So anyway, hope everything turned out well for you wherever you are, if you were affected by Irma, and we'll get back to our normal programming after we I think on Wednesday we'll start on trying to get back to normal on the YouTubes, but for now we'll try and help out on as far as cleanup ideas, and how to provide first aid for your trees that were affected by the storm. So anyway, thanks for watching, and see you back here very soon.